The rain hit the steel roads of Colony 7 like cold needles. The sky was dark, filled with smoke and low-hanging clouds. Lights flickered on broken poles, casting long shadows in the empty streets. A small girl walked slowly through the alley. Her steps weak, she wore no shoes, only a thin cloth around her shoulders. Her skin was pale blue. Her eyes glowed softly like stars. People turned away when they saw her. Some shut their windows, others locked their doors. She didn't speak much, only whispered a few words at each door. Please. Just a place to rest. For tonight, but every door slammed shut. One after another, she knocked. 12 doors, 12 cold rejections. The girl's name was Nerea. She had escaped from something or someone, but didn't know where to go. Her body was tired, her stomach empty, and her mind full of fear. At the last door, she stood in silence for a long time. Her hand hovered above the button. She didn't want to be turned away again. But she had no choice. She pressed it and waited. The door creaked open slowly, revealing a man in old clothes. His face was rough, with tired eyes and gray in his beard. He looked down at her without saying anything. Nerea stared up, shivering. I don't want money, she said softly. I just need a place to sit. Please. The man looked around to see if anyone was watching. Then he stepped aside. Come in before someone sees you, he said. Nerea's eyes widened, but she didn't speak. She walked in slowly. Careful with every step, the man closed the door behind her and locked it. He walked past her and turned on a small heater in the corner. Sit by that, he said. You're wet and freezing. Nerea sat down near the heater. Letting the warmth touch her cold skin, she looked. Around the house was small, with broken furniture and dusty shelves. But it was safe, and for now, that was enough. What's your name? The man asked Nerea. She whispered. I'm Jared, he said. I don't usually let strangers in. I understand, she replied. I've been walking for hours. Jared gave her a towel and some old clothes. They'll be too big, but better than what you're wearing, he said. There's a washroom behind that door. Nerea nodded and went inside. When she came out, she looked cleaner, her hair damp and her face a little brighter. Jared had made soup, just hot water with dried vegetables, but it smelled like heaven to her. She sat at the table and ate slowly. Jared watched her from across the room. You're not from here, he said. Nerea nodded. I'm not. Even from this planet? Jared raised an eyebrow. Alien? She didn't answer, but her glowing eyes said enough. Jared rubbed his forehead. Look, I don't care what you are, he said, but if someone's after you, you better tell me now. Nerea looked down. Yes, she whispered. They're looking for me. Why? Because I'm different, she said. They want to use me, Jared sighed. Figures. That night, Nerea slept on a small couch with a blanket too thin for comfort. But it was warm compared to the streets for the first time in weeks. She closed her eyes without shaking in fear. Jared didn't sleep much. He stayed up, watching the monitors he had built long ago, old security cams patched into colony grids. He used to be in the military, then a repairman. Now, just a man trying to stay forgotten. But tonight, he had a guest, and something about her didn't feel normal. He didn't feel danger. He felt something else, something important. At midnight, one of his screens blinked red. Movement outside. A dark shape hovered on the edge of the street. A scout drone. Silent, fast, and watching. Jared whispered, "Damn it." He turned off the lights and checked his emergency bag. A pulse rifle, an EMP chip, some credits, and 2 oxygen masks. He grabbed them and woke Nerea gently. "Hey," he said, "we have to go." She blinked, confused. "Why?" "They found you," Jared said. "And if they're looking here, we don't have time." Nerea stood up quickly, holding the towel like a shield. Jared handed her a coat. Put this on, he said. Stay close, and don't speak, unless I say so. They slipped out the back, down into the alley. The rain was still falling, and the air smelled of metal and fuel. Jared led her into an old tunnel that connected to maintenance routes. I thought you said you didn't care what I am, Neriah said softly. I don't, Jared replied. But I care about what people like you become when they're hunted. Neriah didn't answer. She just walked beside him in the darkness. And deep in her chest, something warm began to grow. Jared pulled Neriah behind a metal pillar as the red laser dot danced across the tunnel wall. He knew what it was, a sniper drone, fast and deadly. He held her close and whispered, "Don't move." The drone hovered outside the tunnel, scanning. It had no eyes, only a glowing red sensor that flickered like fire. Jared reached into his coat and pulled out a small black disc. EMP chip, he said. One shot, no mistakes. He peeked out and threw the chip. It flew through the air, blinking blue. When it hit the wall near the drone, it exploded in a flash of white light. The drone sparked, jerked, and crashed to the ground with a loud thud. Neriah gasped. Jared stood up quickly. Let's move, he said. Grabbing her hand, we only have a few minutes. They ran deeper into the tunnels, turning corners, jumping over old wires and trash. Water dripped from the ceiling, and rats ran across the floor. Finally, they reached a small metal door. Half covered in rust, Jared opened it with a keycard and pushed her inside. It was an old storage room, full of dust, crates, and old machines. He sealed the door and sat down, breathing heavily. Neriah sat across from him, silent, her glowing eyes wide. Was that for me? She asked quietly. Yes, Jared replied. They're hunting you hard. Neriah lowered her head. I didn't want to bring trouble. Jared shook his head. You didn't? He said. The trouble was already here. He looked at her closely. What are you, really? Neriah hesitated. She touched her wrist, and a soft circle of light appeared under her skin. I was made, she said. Not born, made. By scientists, she said. On a ship called Project Halo. Jared leaned forward. What were they trying to make? Neriah paused, then whispered, a perfect child, smart, strong, beautiful, but also obedient. Jared clenched his fists. Did they hurt you? She nodded slowly. Not always with pain, she said, sometimes with silence. Jared felt something twist in his chest. He had seen war, seen people die, but this was different. This was a child being shaped like a tool, not raised like a person. Why did you run? He asked. I saw one of the others die, she said. They said she was broken, but she was just scared, and you're scared too. Jared said. She nodded, but not right now. Jared looked at her carefully. Why? She gave a small smile. Because you didn't shut the door. Jared looked away. Feeling a lump in his throat, he had done many bad things in his life, but letting her in didn't feel like one of them. They sat in silence for a while, listening to the distant sounds of boots and drones outside. Then Jared stood up. We can't stay here long. He said, they'll check this place next. Where will we go? Neriah asked. There's a man I know, Jared said. An old friend from the war. He hides people. Will he help us? He'll help you, Jared said. He owes me too much to say no. They left the storage room and moved. Through service pipes and forgotten tunnels, Jared moved with purpose, like he knew every step. Neriah followed quietly. Trusting him more with each minute, they reached a metal hatch that led to the surface. Jared turned to her. Put this on, he said, handing her a dark cloak. Hide your face. Outside, the city was waking up. Shops opening, people rushing. Screens flashing news updates. Jared guided her through the crowd, keeping his head low. Neriah clung to his side, afraid, but curious. They reached a tall building with no name. Jared knocked on a secret panel. After a few seconds, a hidden door opened. A bald man with cybernetic eyes looked out. He raised an eyebrow. "Jared," he said, "you're still alive, barely." Jared replied, "I need a favor." The man looked at Nerea, then back at Jared. "That's the girl, isn't it?" "She's not what they say," Jared said. "She's just a kid." The man stepped aside. "Come in, inside." The lights were low, and the air smelled like oil and metal. Old tech lined the walls, and screens showed maps and codes. Jared and Nerea sat down as the man scanned her energy signal. "This is powerful," the man said. "She could power a station. She's not a battery." Jared snapped. "She's a person." Nerea looked at him with wide eyes. No one had ever spoken for her like that before. The man nodded slowly. "All right." He said, "I'll help." But before they could rest, the room's alarm began to ring. "Unmarked transport landing on the roof," the man said. "They're already here." The floor vibrated under their feet. The old man, known only as Riggs, looked up at the ceiling. "They're coming fast," he said. "Unmarked ship. No ID. Probably Black Ops." Jared checked his blaster and handed a smaller one to Nerea. "Take this," he said. She held it, unsure. "I don't know how to shoot. Just hold it for now." Jared replied, "Follow me. Don't get separated." Riggs opened a hidden hatch in the corner of the room. It led down into the old cargo shafts, unused by civilians. "This way," he said. "I'll hold them off for a few seconds. You sure?" Jared asked. Riggs gave a tired smile. "I've been waiting for a reason to matter again." Nerea looked at him, her voice quiet. "Thank you." Riggs gave her a small nod. "You better be worth it, kid." The hatch closed behind them, and they slid down a narrow metal tunnel. Jared hit the floor first, then helped Nerea down, outside. They heard the sound of boots, shouting, and a high-pitched alarm. "They're inside," Jared said. "We need to move." The cargo shaft led them into a dark, underground passage. It smelled like rust and smoke. The lights flickered, and pipes hissed above their heads. Nerea moved quickly beside Jared. She didn't speak, but her eyes glowed brighter than before. Jared noticed. "You okay?" "I feel awake," she said, "like something inside me is waking up." "That could be good or bad," Jared replied. "Let's stay alive long enough to figure it out." They reached an old station beneath the city. Broken trains, cracked glass, flickering signs. It had been shut down years ago. Jared pointed to a service tunnel behind a broken gate. "This way." Suddenly, a loud metallic clank echoed through the tunnel. A black drone floated down from above, its red sensor glowing. It scanned the area and locked onto them. "Move!" Jared shouted, pulling Nerea behind a pillar. The drone fired a pulse beam. Melting a chunk of the wall, Jared fired back, hitting the drone's wing. It sparked, spun, and crashed, but more humming sounds echoed from behind. They sent more. Nerea said, her voice steady now. "We can't run forever. You want to fight?" Jared asked, "Now's your chance." Nerea stepped out, her hands glowing faint blue. She focused. Breathing slowly, another drone appeared, aiming directly at her, but before it could fire, a wave of blue light exploded from Nerea's chest. The air shimmered, the drone shook, and its systems overloaded. It fell to the ground without firing a single shot. Jared stared in shock. "Did you mean to do that?" Nerea looked at her hands, surprised. "No," she whispered, "but I didn't want to kill it." Jared grinned. "Good," he said, "because that was impressive. More drones were coming." Jared led her down the tunnel, turning into a side shaft. They climbed a ladder that led to an old warehouse. Inside were boxes, tools, and scattered junk from long ago. Jared shut the hatch and welded it shut with a heat rod. "Buy us a few minutes," he said. Nerea sat down, breathing hard. "That light," she said. "It came from inside me. Is it a weapon?" Jared asked. She shook her head. "No," she said. "I don't think it's meant to destroy. I think it reacts to what I feel. Then keep feeling like a hero," Jared said. Because we're in deep trouble, they heard pounding. From below, the drones had reached the hatch. Jared pulled out a beacon transmitter and turned it on. It glowed red, then blue, then green. "What's that?" Nerea asked. "An old call signal." Jared said, "I used it during the war. I'm hoping someone still listens." He looked at her seriously. "If they don't, we make a last stand." Nerea nodded. "I'm not running anymore." The hatch behind them blew open, smoke and sparks filling the room. 4 soldiers in black armor stepped through with rifles aimed. They didn't speak, only moved forward slowly. Nerea stood between them and Jared. Her hands lifted, glowing again. The air around her shimmered like a shield. "Don't hurt him," she said. "I'll stop you." The soldiers fired. The energy beams hit the shield and vanished. Jared fired back, knocking one down. Suddenly, a massive boom echoed from above. A ship, old and battle-scarred, dropped from the sky outside. It opened fire on the attackers, scattering them. The soldiers retreated. The drone control links cut. A voice rang out over a loudspeaker. "Jared, you crazy bastard, you still alive?" Jared smiled. "Yeah, I'm still kicking." The ship's ramp lowered. And an old friend stepped out. A woman in armor, gray hair tied back. She looked at Nerea and said, "So this is the girl. She's more than that," Jared said. "She's the reason I believe in people again." The ship flew through the upper clouds. Far above the colony, inside, the engines hummed softly as the crew worked quietly. Nerea sat near a round table, holding a warm cup in both hands. Her eyes stared at the window, but her thoughts were far away. Jared sat beside her, arms crossed, watching the stars too. Across from them stood the woman who had saved them. Her name was Commander Vale. She was once a respected Alliance pilot, now part of a rebel network that helped refugees and lost causes. Commander Vale tapped on a screen and turned to them. "We lost them for now," she said, "but they'll come again." Jared nodded. "They won't stop until they get her." Nerea didn't speak. She looked at her hands. The same hands that glowed with strange light just hours ago. Her voice finally came, soft and heavy, "I think it's time I tell you everything." Vale pulled up a chair and leaned forward. "We're listening." Nerea took a deep breath. "I was created in a lab called Project Halo," she began. "Not born like a human child, but grown." Jared's expression didn't change, but he stayed very still. "They made many like me," she continued. "Some had speed, others had strength, but I was made with something else." "What was it?" Vale asked. Nerea looked down. "They called it empathy coding. They wanted me to feel everything. Pain, joy, fear, love. They said it would make me the perfect diplomat. Or a spy." Vale frowned. "That's cruel." Nerea nodded. "It felt like I was alive, but not free." She paused, remembering. "They kept us in rooms with white walls and no windows. We were tested every day, not just our minds, but our hearts. They wanted to measure your emotions." Jared asked, surprised. "Yes." Nerea said they would show us sad images, then watch how we cried. They gave us pets, then took them away. Jared looked away, fists clenched. "That's not science," he muttered. "That's torture." Vale stayed quiet, but her eyes burned with anger too. "I ran away when they shut down the project," Nerea said. "Something went wrong. One of the other kids lost control. There was a fire, and in the chaos, I escaped." She touched her chest gently. "The crystal in my body. It's alive too." Vale blinked. What do you mean? It reacts to feelings, Nerea explained. When I'm afraid, it protects. When I'm angry, it pushes things away. But when I'm calm, it glows gently. Jared nodded slowly, so that's why the drones couldn't hit you. Nerea met his eyes. I don't want to be used again. I don't want to be a weapon. You're not, Jared said firmly. You're a person. And you get to choose who you are. Vale leaned back in her chair, thinking. Others need to hear this story, she said. You're proof that feeling is power. But they'll twist it, Jared said. They'll say she's dangerous. Maybe. Vale agreed, but if we don't show them the truth, they'll never stop hunting her. Nerea looked outside again. I've always been hiding, she said. But now I want to be seen. Jared put a hand on her shoulder. Then we help you be seen. The real you, not what they say. Suddenly, the ship's AI spoke. Message incoming from Outer Ring Station. Vale opened the channel. A voice came through, calm but urgent. This is Commander Wren of the Outer Ring Alliance. We have reason to believe your vessel is harboring classified tech. Surrender the girl and avoid punishment. Nerea tensed. Jared stood up, angry. They found us again, Vale. Close the channel. I know Wren, she said. He follows orders, not his heart. What now? Nerea asked. We go to the Mirror Moon base, Vale said. It's old, abandoned, and off-grid. But there's a transmitter strong enough to send a signal across the galaxy. A signal, Jared asked. Yes. Vale nodded. If. She speaks to everyone at once. She tells her story, not as a threat, but as a child. Maybe the people will listen before the armies do. Nerea looked unsure. I've never spoken to crowds. You've spoken to me, Jared said, and it changed my life. Vale smiled. We leave now. The ship turned, engines roaring as it sped toward the old base hidden in the moon's shadow. Below them, Alliance ships searched the stars. But above it all, hope was starting to rise. The ship slowed as it approached Mirror Moon. Outside the window, the moon looked broken, filled with craters and metal scars. It had once been a mining station, but now it was forgotten. Or so they thought. Power source still active. The ship's I said. Jared stood beside Commander Vale, both watching the surface closely. I thought this place was dead, Jared said. It should be. Vale replied, but someone woke it up. Nerea stood behind them. Holding the edge of the control panel, she felt nervous, but something inside her buzzed with energy. This place. Feels like it's waiting, she whispered. Vale turned to her. You still want to speak to the galaxy? Nerea nodded slowly. Yes. Then we'll make sure you get that chance. Vale said. Jared, suit up. The ship landed quietly on the far side of the station. Thick dust covered the landing pad and old warning signs blinked dimly. Jared stepped out first, pulse rifle ready. Vale followed with a scanner in hand, and Nerea walked behind them in silence. They moved through broken halls and rusted doors. Spider-like drones lay inactive on the floor, their lights long dead, but as they reached the control room, the lights suddenly flickered on. Nerea gasped. It's alive, yes? Vale said. But who turned it on? Before anyone could answer, a deep voice echoed from the speakers. You should not be here. Jared raised his weapon. Show yourself. From the shadows stepped a figure in black armor. Tall and slow, his face was hidden behind a mask, and his arms were half metal. I am Guardian Zero, he said. I protect the voice of the galaxy. We're not here to fight, Vale said. We just need to use the transmitter. The Guardian looked at Nerea. His mask scanned her silently. She is the crystal child, he said. She carries life, but also danger. She carries choice. Jared replied. Let her speak. The Guardian paused, then nodded. This way. He led them to the transmitter chamber, a round room filled with old tech and a glowing central pillar. Vale activated the console. It still works, she said. surprised. I can boost the signal to reach 6 star systems, Nerea stepped forward. She looked around the room, feeling strange energy in the air. What should I say? She asked. Jared walked up beside her. Say what you've never been allowed to say. She took a deep breath. The pillar lit up, recording every word, every movement. Her voice began soft but strong. My name is Nerea, she said. I am. Not a machine, not a weapon, not a project. I am a girl. Somewhere far away, screens turned on, and people across planets began to listen. I was made to feel, Nerea continued. And because I feel, I hurt when I'm hunted. I cry when I'm alone, but I also smile when someone opens a door. Jared's eyes watered slightly. Vale stood tall beside him, proud. I don't want to fight, Nerea said, but I won't run anymore. I ask not for power, but for peace. As her message echoed across space, something began to happen. The crystal inside her chest glowed brightly, and energy filled the room. Suddenly, alarms blared again. Multiple ships incoming, the AI warned. Alliance fleet approaching. Jared turned to Vale. They're trying to stop the signal. We won't let them, Vale said, pulling out her communicator. Call the others, outside the base. Ships began to appear in the sky, sleek and fast. Their weapons, armed. But from the other side of the moon came older ships, rebel fighters, smugglers, even cargo freighters. All answering Nerea's message. We're not alone, Jared said. Amazed, they heard her. The sky lit up with energy blasts and shield sparks. But inside, Nerea kept speaking. She stood firm, her voice calm. I am not perfect, she said. I make mistakes, but I learn. I was made in a lab. But I choose who I become. Then, something incredible happened. The crystal inside. Her chest released a pulse of pure light. It spread across the base. Touching systems, healing broken wires, clearing the air outside. Even the attacking ships paused as their screens were filled with her message. Some backed off, confused and unsure. Others kept firing. The Guardian, watching silently all this time, stepped forward. Her words have reached hearts. He said, she is no longer alone. The light dimmed, the signal complete. Nerea fell to her knees, tired but glowing. Jared rushed to her side, holding her close. You did it, he whispered. You really did it. The control room was quiet, except for the soft hum of power. Nerea sat on the floor, her eyes half closed. Still glowing from the pulse she released, Jared stayed close. One hand on her shoulder. Commander Vale stood near the screen, watching the blinking alert. Commander Wren requesting transmission, the AI repeated. Vale looked at Jared. He's the one who led the attack fleet, she said. He's not known for kindness, Nerea slowly opened her eyes. Let him speak, she whispered. If he's calling now? Maybe something changed. Vale nodded and activated the main screen. The face of Commander Wren appeared, sharp eyes, silver uniform, and a voice like cold steel. He looked directly at Nerea, then at Jared and Vale. I received your message, he said, and I watched it in full. Jared stood, tense and ready, and he asked. Wren didn't speak for a moment. Then he said, I have a daughter. Everyone in the room went still. Wren continued, she's 10, bright, brave, and always asking questions. He looked down for a second when I saw Nerea speak. I saw the same eyes. I followed orders, he said. I was told Nerea was dangerous, a weapon, but weapons don't cry. Nerea stood slowly, her voice soft. I don't want revenge, she said. I want a life. Wren nodded. I can't stop the whole alliance, he said, but I can stop this fleet. He turned to someone off-screen and gave a silent order on the radar. The enemy ships slowly turned away, disappearing into the stars. They're leaving. Vale said, surprised. Jared exhaled. For now, he said. Ren looked back at Nerea. The people saw your message, he said, and they're not afraid anymore. He paused, then added, be careful. Not all doors will open, but more will now. The screen went dark. Silence filled the room again. Nerea sat back down, her energy almost gone. Did I do the right thing? She asked Jared. He smiled and knelt beside her. You did something most grown people can't, he said. You told the truth, even when it hurt. Vale checked the scanners. We've got some time now, she said. No more threats for... The moment they left the control room and walked through the old moon base, lights were turning on again, as if the base itself believed in them. Drones started repairing broken walls, and oxygen levels were stabilizing. Your energy fixed the systems, Vale said to Nerea. Your light gave life back to this place. Nerea touched the wall, feeling warmth where it was once cold. Maybe I was meant for more than running, she said. Later, in a small, quiet room, Jared found a blanket and wrapped it around her shoulders. You should rest, he said. We'll watch over you. Nerea nodded and leaned back, closing her eyes. But before sleep came, she whispered, thank you for opening the door. Jared smiled. Anytime, he said. Outside the room, Vale met with a few rebel captains who had arrived after the battle. They had seen the message too, and brought supplies. More people were choosing to stand with Nerea. This is growing fast, one captain said. The girl? She's more than a message, she's a symbol. Vale agreed, but she's also still a child. We'll protect her. Another said, she gave us hope. At night, Jared sat alone near the ship, looking up at the stars. So much had changed in just a few days. He had opened his door to a scared, glowing girl. Now the galaxy was listening to her voice. He thought about all the other kids like her, hidden, hunted, or waiting. Maybe this was just the beginning, he heard. Footsteps and turned. Nerea was awake again, standing beside him. She looked up at the stars too. Do you think it's over? She asked. No, Jared said honestly, but I think it's better now. I still feel scared. She said, so do I. Jared replied, but scared people can still be brave. She smiled. Then I'll try. They sat together in silence. Two small figures under the endless sky. Not soldier and child, not protector and project. Just two souls trying to heal. The signal kept coming from deep space. It was old. Not like Alliance tech. Not like the rebel channels either. Vale stared at the screen, her voice steady but sharp. It's not human. Jared stood beside her, his hand on his weapon. Is it dangerous? He asked. The AI replied, signal is encrypted with pre-galactic code. Unknown origin, but similar energy to the crystal inside Nerea. Nerea walked into the room, hearing her name. She stood in front of the glowing screen, watching the strange waves of light move. It's calling me? She said softly. Vale narrowed her eyes. Can you understand it? I think so, Nerea said. It's not words, it's feelings. Jared stepped closer. What kind of feelings? Sadness, Nerea said. Loneliness and hope. Everyone was silent. Then Vale gave a small nod. Patch the signal through. The room dimmed. And a shape appeared in the air. A figure made of soft light. It looked like an older version of Nerea, with silver lines and deep glowing eyes. I am the first, the figure said. Long ago. I was the beginning of the crystal line. I was made before the wars, before the fear. Jared and Vale watched in awe as the figure continued. I sent out pieces of myself. The voice said, to learn, to grow, to feel. Nerea is one of them. Nerea stepped forward. So I'm not alone, she said. I have others like me. The figure nodded. Yes, but most were lost or silenced. The room grew quiet again. Then the figure turned toward Jared. You human, it said. You opened the door. Jared blinked. I just let her in, he replied. I didn't. No, it would matter. It always matters, the figure said. One open door can change 1,000 lives. Then it looked at Vale. And you, warrior, it said. You protected her, even when others turned away. I follow what's right, Vale said. Not always what's written, the figure smiled. There is hope yet. Suddenly, the signal began to fade. The figure's light dimmed. What's happening? Nerea asked. Worried, I used the last of my strength to speak. The voice said, but your voice. We'll continue. The screen went dark. The room filled with silence once again. Nerea looked at Jared, her voice soft. I'm part of something much older than I thought. But you're still you, Jared said. And you chose who to become, Vale. Tapped on the console, the message you sent, she said. It's spreading. What do you mean? Jared asked. It's gone beyond human colonies. Vale said, alien ships are picking it up. Some are responding. The base lit up with new energy signals, different shapes. Colors, languages, they were coming not for war, but to listen. Nerea walked to the large window, staring out at the stars. She had once walked alone. Door after door slammed in her face. Now the universe was opening to her. I used to think I was broken, she said, but maybe I was just waiting to find the right place. Jared smiled. You found it? She turned to him, eyes glowing gently. I wouldn't have, without you, outside the base. Ships landed slowly, peaceful, curious, carrying beings from other worlds. They didn't bring weapons. They brought stories inside. Nerea stood on a new platform, ready to speak again, not just to humans, but to all who had ever been afraid. Different or unwanted. She took a deep breath, then said, My name is Nerea. I was made in silence. Raised in fear, but I choose to live in light. Jared and Vale watched her. Proud, she's leading now. Vale whispered, she always was. Jared replied, we just finally listened. In that moment, a door opened that would never close again. A door built not from steel, but from courage, kindness, and truth. And behind that door stood a little girl with a glowing heart. No longer alone, no longer afraid, but ready to change the galaxy.